Aloha, and welcome to Atlas Insurance's Risky Business. I'm Sean Satterfield.
Choi.
And Elaine Gascon.
Yeah, today we have Elaine, and Elaine is our AOAO Manager, Vice President. Welcome.
Thank you.
Elaine.
Excellent. Elaine, tell us how you got into the business.
You know, I'm sure a lot of you have heard many people say they fell into insurance, and the same happened for me. Many don't know, but I went to school for psychology. So out of college, my first job offer, as I was so excited to get into the business, was at an insurance company, Pacific Guardian Life, where I worked as an admin in their life insurance department.
Terrific.
And that the rest is history.
Yeah, and we have a great AOAO team. How many members do we have on that team?
Combined full service team, we have over 15 team members.
Yeah, and they all have some specialties. And I guess in our episode today, we're going to introduce some and get to know a little bit of them.
Yeah. We have a really strong team behind us.
Elaine, can we talk a little bit about what we do here at Atlas? What's so, not to say what's so special about Atlas, but what is it that our AOAO team does solely alone?
So for Atlas, we have our key team here that specializes in condo insurance, and I think that definitely sets us apart from our competition. We have a dedicated team, like I said, over 15 team members, and that includes our dedicated account executives, our dedicated account managers. Mm-hmm. We have an AOAO administrator, as well as our claims team and also our risk control. Mm-hmm. So that's something that's unique, I think, here in the States, and we have a heavy backing in general.
Yeah, and I know some of those things, value-added services is what we call it a lot of times. You know, we're salespeople, but it's much more than that. There's a lot of things that bring value to our clients. Can you tell us maybe just about one or two of them?
So some of the ones I really like to highlight is our claims assistance, because you definitely want an agent who can be there when things get tough. Mm-hmm. So we have Keen Maranaka, which many of you already know. He helps us through our claims for our clients. Another thing is Alan Blades, who will go out to do site visits and help our clients stay as positive for our carriers to help us get them the best insurance programs. So to me, those are really key differentiators, as well as our HO6 tracking.
And I know for our viewers, I hate to put a plug in there, but for episode 2, we actually interviewed Keen, right?
Yeah, he did a great job, and that's true. Claims in AO is hugely important because you're dealing with sometimes over 100, 200, 500 owners in a building. So to know your claims is a key differentiator.
For sure, especially these days with the high deductibles. I mean, you need a team that can help provide that support.
Right. Any other services that you really appreciate or that you like to talk to our clients about?
I mentioned it a little briefly, more the HO6 tracking, because that is, again, another differentiator for us. We have Jessica Pippin, who's our administrator, who will do the process for us and make sure it runs smoothly as possible, tracking every policy for the individual unit owners. And that's something that I think is key today, again, with the deductibles being so high. We want to make sure that every unit owner is protected, and so is the association.
Yeah. Elaine, tell us what you bring to the table. What's maybe one of the, or few of the key differentiators that you, from your experience, brings to the table for the AOA team and leading the AOA team?
Okay. So, I've been at Atlas since 2015, so I've been doing condo insurance for quite a bit. But for me, I think the unique story is, I started off at Atlas as an administrator, entry level. I worked as an admin, moved up into the account manager role, then also the account executive role, and now leading the unit. And I think that's key because I've been in each position, so I understand kind of how to fully service every account, right? I've been in every position or every hat that I feel like that's a differentiator in how I service my clients. I'm not afraid to do certs. I'm not afraid to do things that maybe I probably shouldn't be doing at this point, but it's always to serve our clients, right? I want to always get back to them right away, take care of them, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah. And especially it's the little things that count, right? It's those things that's going to make the difference on a client being satisfied, whether it be just a certificate or helping a property manager through a claim.
Yeah.
So that's great.
And I really appreciate that you have an understanding of just how pretty much how the entirety of the department works, right? The administrative aspect of it, account management aspect, and especially now account executive and unit manager, having an understanding of it, really knowing how to deal with each of the team members. I think that's really what I appreciate that you bring to the table as a unit manager.
Thank you, Shane.
Yeah.
And also I wanted to talk a little bit about some organizations that you're a part of. I know we have quite a bit of a presence in the AOAO space, but can you talk a little bit about maybe one or two organizations that you appreciate that you're a part of, and possibly how you got into it or why you appreciate being?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a huge differentiator for Atlas as well, that we are part of almost all the condo building management industries that we have for our state. Some key ones that we're pretty heavily involved in is Community Council of Maui, so CCM. I serve as vice president on that board, and also Della Nakamoto in our Maui office is also a director. I've been on that board for, I'm going to say over 5 years now. Started off in the newsletter committee and still do that to this day. That's a really great organization because we throw a huge insurance seminar once a year for all the board members, property managers, and that is the most attended, and we have that coming up shortly as well. And here in Oahu, we are part of IREM, which is Institute Real Estate Management Association of Hawaii, Community Association of Hawaii, CAI. I volunteer on their newsletter committee. We're also part of MRMA, Mo'iliili Resident Managers Association. So we really try to be really involved because we see our clients. That's where our clients are. We try to support all the events they do and help with education. So I think that's so key in today's industry, that education is just as important as us handling the insurance, right? We want our boards to know what's going on, be part of those industry events.
Okay. And what do you feel about the industries that we're part of is insurance? That we're about part of the insurance industry, but it kind of extends also to the real estate industry, right? So you're part of, you mentioned IREM, CAI. For those organizations, what's kind of like some community involvement things that you really like to take part in as part of those organizations?
So for CAI, I really love that they always highlight a nonprofit in all their newsletter publications. I think it's important. We many people on this board, we all serve in other capacities on different nonprofit boards, and that's what brought us to also serve on this nonprofit. So that's something great about, I think, all these organizations, that we bring together like-minded individuals who like to give back to the community as a whole.
That's awesome, Elaine. Well, I really appreciate you spending the time with us today, and I'm looking forward to meeting the rest of the members.
Thank you so much.
Hey, welcome, Kanani. Very excited for you to be here. Tell us a little about yourself.
So my name is Kanani Cuevas. I'm currently an account executive here on the AOAO team. I work under Elaine Gascon, my supervisor. I specialize in condo insurance and association policies.
That's great. How'd you get into the business?
So I fell into insurance just like how any of us did. I was an accountant at a local law firm back in the recession in 2010, made almost no money. And I got approached by a local carrier and said, hey, do you want to be an adjuster? And I'm like, what's an adjuster? I started writing auto estimates, taking statements, determining liability. And from there, another local carrier said, hey, you want to be our claim manager? And started overseeing workers' compensation claims, property claims, association claims for AOAOs, property damage. Did that for about 10 years and decided to get into the sales space and become an agent.
So, us as agents, we kind of worked with you a lot.
Yes, we have.
In that space. And with your experience, how do you bring that experience now to your current position? Like how does that relate, or the things that you've learned or your experience, how does that transfer over to now being an account executive with AOAO?
Sure. So I feel like my communication with all of my clients is very strong when they need help with a claim, or what do these policies really come to at the end of the day, right? So if there's a water loss, or someone slipped and fell, or a worker got injured, I have extensive knowledge of how those claims have been handled in the past. I can give them insight and advice onto if they should get a lawyer involved or file the claim and go from there.
And Sean, I think we work as a team, right?
Right.
So a lot of times the questions that we ask, we may not necessarily ask people outside of our team because we have people like Kanani who are experienced in those things, right?
Yeah, I like to call myself sometimes a mini Keen when Keen's unavailable. I know Keen is the head honcho and he is a plethora of knowledge, but I like to help out my team members and when they have a little question on what goes on with the claim and how it's handled from start to finish.
Yeah. I know we had recently, I don't want to name the client, but we had like a sewer backup was an example
Yes.
of one. Can you kind of just, without putting in too much detail, like explain, I guess, your thoughts process as far as like when the claim came in, this was the facts of the case, the details, and then having your claims experience. Like,
Sure.
How did you, from a layman or like from a normal person, how did you look at that differently from maybe another agent or somebody else?
Sure. So a lot of our carriers, they'll go ahead and hire third-party administrative claim adjusters to go out in the field and look at the claim. And they're not always right. And here at Atlas, as an agency, we want to be the advocate for our clients and be that liaison between them and the carriers. So if we don't agree with something, we're going to speak up and make sure that it's handled correctly. And if we're wrong at the end of the day. So with this one, we felt that it was not a sewer loss, but the adjuster paid it as a sewer loss. Not to get too technical, but a sewer loss has a small limit. In this case, $25,000. But the regular water loss, this could be paid to the full value of said claim. So I went ahead and questioned the adjuster, questioned the carrier, and they're getting to resolution for us. And hopefully the client is happy in our knowledge of the system and how it should work.
Right. So Sean, it's really like client advocacy, right?
Absolutely.
That we have for
Yeah.
people like Kanani bringing the value to our team.
Yeah, and that's important about Atlas. I mean, we do bring a lot of expertise from our members, you know, and from our agents and AEs. So I'm really excited. Yeah. Kanani, thank you for being a part of our quick introduction to the AOAO team. We look forward to the next person.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Kanani.
Thank you. Welcome, Kaimana.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. We're really excited to have you today.
Thanks for having
Tell
me.
us a little about yourself.
Name's Kaimana Rosso. I'm account executive here on the AOAO team, working under Elaine.
Okay, terrific. How on earth did you get into the business?
Well, just like everyone else, insurance kind of fell into my lap. I used to be a mortgage broker before this.
Okay.
And so I have some experience working with AOAOs and getting lender qualifications.
Okay, excellent. Shane, I know that from the AOAO side, the last couple of years, we've had some issues with people getting qualified to sell their homes. Maybe, Kaimana, you can enlighten us how that works a little bit on the lending side.
As far as insurance and the lending. Like
Getting the
how important
COIs.
is that?
Yeah, so one thing that's very important is that buildings have 100% hurricane insurance or replacement cost coverage. And some of the lenders out there, you cannot get a loan unless the building is 100% qualified. And so there's that big issue where a lot of the buildings did not meet that 100% requirement.
Yeah, and that typically is for the conventional loans.
Right.
So a lot of times conventional loans with some of the local banks, like the local banks we have here or the credit unions. But there are some ways to get non-conventional loans, but the issue is much higher interest.
Much higher interest, much higher down payment. So most of us try to go through Fannie or Freddie if we can. And so if you don't have the capital to pay all cash or have a large down payment, it was a big issue. And I got interested in insurance because I was working with a lot of the buyers and with a lot of the AOAOs to help get these people qualified or help them resolve any of the litigation that they needed in order to get qualified for those loans.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. If you had an AOAO agent that was kind of already familiar with the requirements, and how much easier did that make your job as a loan officer, you know, on the lending side?
It's night and day. Yeah, when you have an insurance agent that knows exactly what you're requesting, instead of having to go back and forth and help them figure out what you need, it makes the process a lot faster. And for certain buyers, you know, that time difference can make the difference between getting the unit or not.
Yeah. And from your perspective, what is one thing that may be different about Atlas that, when you're on the lending side, that maybe have different, or your experience here that is different from other agencies from your experience?
With Atlas, was always someone that would respond to me in a timely manner.
Mm-hmm.
I've had experiences with other agencies where I would ask for an insurance summary or any sort of certification, and it would go unanswered for days. And that's, from a lending standpoint, it's really frustrating because sometimes that's the last piece of information that you need in order to close the loan. And you're just like how we're representing the agencies here at Atlas, we're representing the buyers from the lending side. And, if they have to pay a fee for an extension just because you can't get an insurance summary, that's not a good look for us or for the lenders.
Yeah.
We have to turn around, if anything, some way of insurance, a certificate of insurance. So I think even on our side, you've kind of already experienced some of the requests that come in, right, from the lenders, questions that they ask. Sean, are you familiar with some of those things that come in from the lenders?
Oh yeah, they ask for all kinds of things. Especially, certificates of insurance is one. But right now, lenders that I see are asking, is it fully insured?
Fully insured, replacement costs, 100%,
replacement costs,
100% fully insured, or 100% replacement costs, which is not necessarily something that insurers use. But we say, fully insured, yes.
Yep, that's right.
Replacement costs.
One other thing, Shane, too, is that a lot of times, or not a lot of times, I should say, but sometimes there's issues with whether or not they can qualify for the loan. If it's like for flood, as an example, that's another issue that can happen. If you have flood insurance or the deductibles, maybe an issue. So HO6 tracking, all the things that Atlas does.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in the lending sphere that I think if we don't give it to them in time, the requester, then it kind of almost creates like a bottleneck, right?
Exactly.
Like you're waiting for this one thing. If you don't get it, then you can't move forward. Is that kind of how it is?
Yeah. That's great. Kaimana, thank you for being a part of our podcast today. And I appreciate the time you spent with us.
Of course. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Mary. Excited for you to be here.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Shane.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Now, tell us a little about yourself, Mary.
So my name is Mary Kishimoto. I'm on the condo unit with, Elaine and everyone else. I'm an account executive. I've been in insurance for about, how long would you say, Shane? Maybe a little less than 10 years, right? A little less than 10 years. Yep. It's been quite a journey, When I first started insurance, I just, like everyone else, fell into it. I needed a job. And it turned out to be the best decision in my life. I met great friends. I learned so many things. I'm still learning so many things, right? Before Atlas, I was at another agency. I did claims consulting, but I did it in the construction space. So anywhere from work comp, slip and falls, a lot of construction defect.
Okay.
So I think it's a good tie into, what I do now, which is condo insurance.
Yeah. What is one of the big things that's different about condos versus the other things that you do or did before?
I think for me, a lot of it's actually pretty similar, right? I deal with similar things. There's always going to be personnel issues. But what I like in the condo space, it feels like whether it's on the board or the project or property managers, I feel like they're all willing to help to try to help get, the best price, best coverage. And then that's where I come in, right? Try to help them get the best coverage, make sure that they have all their maintenance is up to date and everything like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So the skills that you learned on maybe your prior position or basically the same industry, right? But what are some of the things that have translated from, what you've learned or the skills that you've learned before to where you're at now in this, as an associate account executive position? What things do you feel are really benefiting you in this position?
I think for me, kind of like Kanani had talked about previously, but I was more on the agency side, is that my experience was always like advocating for clients, right? Kind of being their champion, pushing for coverage. And now it's, pushing to make sure they have the best price, pushing to make sure sometimes, sometimes you have to tell a client, it's been a little bit since you've done some maintenance on, right, on their building. And
we got to update it.
Got to update just a little nudge, so just trying to advocate just for them. And then also too, right, building client relationships, not client and carrier relationships. I think that's a really big deal. And end of the day, I mean, being surrounded by a great team, for me, that's the best part, is since we all work together as a team, not only on the account executive side, but the AM side, or risk side. I think that not only helps me to learn and teach clients, but it helps everyone in general. Yeah,
I think from working with you, the educational side has been really helpful when we're in front of boards and then just teaching them some of the things that is important not only for the insurance, but important for the building and the owners. Can you maybe mention a few things that you think condo owners need to know from the board side, or maybe some of the things that that they might lose track of or not maybe take seriously?
Yeah, so a few things, just like you said, right, the learning aspect. Yes. We've had a lot of examples of some newer boards who are willing to learn, willing to learn what they need to do, willing to learn from previous board members. So learning is always such a big thing, I think, when it comes to condo insurance and boards and property managers in general. Honestly, the biggest thing I think is communication, right? Is as long as there's a clear line. We just had, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, a new client came over and they have a huge multi-million-dollar project coming up. And, since we opened up that line of communication, they sent over, contracts for us to review, right? Yes. So we reviewed that for them.
Huge.
We made sure the insurance was correct, right? The indemnity was good enough. Right. And, I think our boards really appreciate that, right? Our clients appreciate that we're there for them.
Yeah, using us as a resource, right?
Yes.
Because having that experience, knowing what should be in the contractual language for insurance requirements, or for vendors, for contractors, those are, I think, especially in the space that you've come from, which is the kind of like the developer or construction side. It kind of brings that added element, right, of understanding. Kind of having a little bit deeper of an understanding than, I guess, every man's agent would have, right?
Right. I was on the opposite side, and now I'm on the winning team side. So,
Mary, it's been great. I really appreciate you coming today and spending some time with us and getting to know you.
Yes. Thanks for the invite, guys.
Excellent. Thank you. Hey, Shane, I'm glad we had a chance to meet the team.
Yeah.
And I know that we just met some of the members. Now we have our account managers. Tell us a little bit about their role and how do they fit into the AOAO team?
Well, I would say that account managers are very integral into our everyday business. So account managers help us with marketing. I would say they have pretty much a deep understanding of the marketplace, the coverages, proposals. Of course, we have certificates of insurance, invoicing. So pretty much the gamut of what we do. Right. Kind of revolves around what the account managers do. Of course, account executives are a little bit more high level in terms of, client facing, of course. Right. But having that internal team and the account managers, I think it makes a huge difference, especially with the wealth of experience that we have among them.
I agree. And I think the other role that the account managers play is they really integrate with some of our vendors.
Right.
So whether, they have the knowledge really on, what the limits are them, but also how the markets are changing.
Right.
And we always have that.
The relationships with the insurers, the brokers, the carriers. It's very important in the sense that, having deep understanding of the coverages and premiums, the rates, right. It really plays into having a good relationship with each of the carriers, treating them well, and making sure that we're not spinning anybody's wheels. We're basically just doing good by not only most of our clients, but also doing good by the underwriters and the carriers.
Yeah, and answering a lot of questions that the underwriters have.
Yeah,
so they do a good job.
So of course, us client facing, but internally. They help us a lot. Honestly, I've learned so much from a lot of our account managers. So really appreciate what they do, and we work so well together.
Yeah. What's next on the list that we have?
We have HO6 tracking.
Yes, HO6 tracking. Okay. But what's important about that, and in the condo world, especially in Hawaii, having HO6 tracking is key, because what that does is it puts kind of a list together for us to make sure that they have the deductibles in place for each unit owner.
Protection.
And the protection, right. And a lot of times there are owners that think that they don't need HO6 tracking if their mortgages are paid off, but it's important on the insurance side in case there's an assessment that they have water damage or they caused unknowingly issues without, within their unit that could affect other units. So the HO6 tracking is key, and we have a dedicated person to do specifically that.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Dedicated AOAO administrator.
Yes, dedicated AOAO administrator. Yeah, she does a great job. The other thing too that we have that's very unique to us is that Alice has invested in risk control and also claims. Can you tell us a little bit about how that works?
The risk consulting, and I know we talked about this in the earlier episodes. Risk consulting, really talking more about the exposure to claims. Right. So when we're talking about associations, we have kind of like a premises exposure, slips, trips, and falls.
That's right.
In case somebody gets hurt on property. So finding ways to prevent that. Of course, that's not all it is, right? Workers' compensation, making sure association employees are not doing things that can prevent injury as opposed to contribute to it. I know Joey kind of talked about a little bit about it last time, how it's really a culture, instilling a safety culture in the organization, in this case, associations. So I think that's a lot what we do, but also specifically Alan, right? Alan Blades, our association risk consultant.
Yes.
He's kind of been helping us with our property insurance markets as well, kind of putting together details about the property profile so that, we can show really good things that our associations are doing.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of associations don't realize, is that your agent is your advocate. And so we really have to know what the property is so that the carriers can understand that, you do know the age of the roof and when the last time it's been redone, or the electrical or the plumbing. So that's really key too.
Right. And it's not only Alan that should know these things. It's really us as the agent.
Yes.
And, we need to really dig deep into the things that they're doing, preventative measures, risk mitigation. A lot of it is kind of trying to paint a good picture for that underwriter. Right. Telling a good story.
Yeah,
so exactly. That we can present our clients in the best possible way. I think that's a lot of what we do.
Yeah. Right.
And Sean, I know your title itself is a business development director. Like, what does that entail? Or, what's your everyday job like?
Great question. So what I try to do is I try to bring the talents of what Atlas has. So the team members and the risk control, the claims, bring that all in a package to the client. And it's really the educational side. So we not only educate the board members of the importance of the D&O and on the property, but also the property managers. The property managers can see how much time we take and the care we give our clients. So it's really putting the package together for the clients and really addressing what their needs are going to be. A lot of times it's going to be, maybe they're not getting COIs in time. If that's an issue, then we figure it out. But also when we address the property, because the property has been the major issue for the past few years, how do we develop a program to mitigate risk? Right. Because a lot of times you'll have claims that are maybe still on board and the client doesn't even know that it's there and it's affecting their insurance, whether the GL or the property. Right. So what I try to do is be the client's advocate. Right. Bring the team together so that we can address the issues of the client and make sure that they get the best possible insurance.
Right. So it's not really necessary. Part of it is selling insurance in a way, but what is it really that we're doing?
Yeah,
for clients?
We're really bringing solutions to the clients. We're trying to solve their issues, and I don't view it as selling. I view it as education. Yeah. So we're really trying to educate the board members, the public, the property managers on how you can utilize your agent to your advantage and the tools that we bring together.
Yeah, I like how you put that. Yeah. And it's more than just selling insurance again. It's the gamut of the things that we offer, right? Having people understand what they're buying, but also understanding the services that come with it.
Yeah, right? I agree. Yeah. This has been great, Shane. I'm glad that we had a chance to talked about our team and how we can
put
bring
a
it to.
face to all the names and the emails, the phone calls, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's
Why?
beneficial for us to know.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All of our viewers to see.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So from all of us to all of you, thank you tuning in to our next episode. And we look forward to seeing you at another one. Take care. Aloha.
Aloha.